The tourism minister has called for an urgent meeting with the newly appointed Prime Minister of Barbados, David Thompson, to discuss the LIAT issue. That country has been subsidizing the airline for years. Alan Chastanet says the regional air carrier's monopoly and lack of capacity has contributed directly to a massive fall-off in intra-Caribbean travel over the last year. He says shareholder governments need to take a tough stance with the airline.
The Barbados government is the primary shareholder. If in fact LIAT is going to be run like a private sector organization, and that there is a management team that can prove to us that they have the capacity, one, to reduce the cost to within the level that this region can survive, whether that means changing the type of equipment that they have, or even reducing the staff, or in fact, if that group we know that are being left alone to make sure that they're providing the most efficient service for this region. That is something that we continue to support.
LIAT's chief executive officer visited St. Lucia last month and said his talks with the tourism minister were positive. The airline continues to receive scathing criticism from Chastanet, but CEO Mark Darby says LIAT wants to work with the tourism minister to effect some urgent changes. He says the minister's appointment as head of LIAT's marketing subcommittee will ensure that Chastanet works with the airline and not against it.
The chairman asked him to chair that board, and that group will be looking at setting the policy, the marketing policy for the airline. So not the day-to-day operational side of things, but just giving us a policy framework to work within.
Chastanet's appointment has done little to suppress his public criticisms of the airline. He says small hotels are suffering from the biggest decrease in interregional travel in recent times. He says government is exploring viable alternatives to redress this problem.
We are trying to encourage American Eagle to be able to add additional service, but as you know, American Eagle right now, it has been announced that there's a possibility that it might be sold. We've also indicated that we have two investors that we're working with that are looking to open up new carriers here in St. Lucia. And we believe the business plans that have been presented to the government are very good and very encouraging, and we're going to be lending them our fullest level of support. My biggest priority right now is to try to solve this interregional situation.
Once the peak winter season is over, many of the island's small hotels depend on regional travelers for survival. With the end of that season only 10 weeks away, these hotels will have to grapple with filling rooms in the 8 challenging summer months. Chastanet says until certain fundamental changes are made to the structure of LIAT, these inconveniences and threats to intra-regional travel will continue. Alison Kentish, HTS News, Channel 4.